Hey day traders, let's talk about how exactly to draw supply and demand zones. So in order to draw actual supply and demand zones, you need basically my two screens over here on the left over here. The top left is the 1 minute chart, and I specifically only trade SPY. The bottom left is also the 5 minute chart, and it's SPY as well. So if you see they're moving the same actual direction, it's just that every five candles up here is one candle down here, right? So in order to draw it, you basically need these two for a very specific reason. So the 5 minute, you're drawing the zones, which are the supply and demand zones. So these are going to be these rectangles you're going to see in a second. The 1 minute chart is how you do your entries and exits, basically, to keep it simple. And it's all intraday supply and demand trading strategy, not these multiple days that you look at and draw from today. You got a zone from 2 years ago. None of that crap. It's just literally the one day you have these zones and you go from there. So pretty quickly, right? Let me maximize sell. And this is the Thinkorswim platform. And again, this is the 5 minute chart. And I have a little line here, so let me delete that. So in order to do it, this is what I basically end up doing. For me, I don't technically start trading until 1 hour after market open. A couple reasons for that, but one, before I said it, it's my market opens up here in Texas at about 8:30 a.m. CST. So I don't technically walk into my room until about 9:30 this time right here. So once this blue line that I just drew gets past it, then I'm ready to go, right? So two things. For one, I don't trade the left because the way zones work, if you've seen me doing in a different video, you've talked to me, you've been in one of my one-on-one coaching sessions or group coaching, whatever it is, you'll know that I only trade once a rectangle's hit and then it's retested, which again is a supply zone. So for it to happen, right? This is what happens. I basically look for the high of the day and then the low of the day, and those are what's going to be called the major zones. So let's go step by step. Going step by step is first this 5 minute red candle here, market going down. Then there's this doji candle going down as well. Then we have this green and red candle right here before it starts rushing downward. This is our first kind of core piece to say that, hey, this is the highest point of the day before the blue line. As a result, first we draw that line on top, right? It's going to be this resistance line, technically, if you're familiar with that. It's going to be on top of this, just sitting on top of these two candles, right? If I zoom in a bit, you can see it's literally sitting on top. Just simple as that. Don't correct it. And then after that, in order to draw the supply zone, it's going to be this line, which is 357.63. That's the price that we just drew. You can see that also on the left. It's going to be that. And we grab our rectangle tool here, and you can touch right on top of this line, 63 minus 10 cents. And that's going to go to 53 at this point. And because it's a supply zone, I personally just change it red. So HSV 60. And then okay. And then this is basically our supply zone, right? So that captures in this example the high of the day. If we go further, what's the lowest point of the day before the blue line? It's basically down here. So same concept applies. You have this line, you draw it outward. We'll leave it right at about here. Then we get the same thing, but the opposite. So it's 357.28 plus 10 cents in this example. It's going to be 0.38. So this is that supply zone, major supply zone. This is that major demand zone at the bottom. Then this captures everything between it. If you notice, for one, this is what perfectly happened, right? So 5 minute candles over here with the supply zone was created. All it literally did was come back up, retest it. If I get my circle tool out here, right? Retested it, tapped it, and ran downward. Simple as that. And you may be thinking, well, okay, well, I don't want to necessarily wait for these major zones to only be touched because this one was never touched. This was touched one time. I don't have time for that, right? So there's things in the middle all over the place. There's also other zones because if you think about it, all the zones are just an agreement between the green buyers and the red sellers that this is the current price, and that's simply it. As a result, if I get my line tool out again, this in the middle is arguably the most important zone throughout this entire day. Because if I draw this outward and then I get the same little rectangle tool, 0.04 minus 10 cents. Again, my math sucks. So if this is not it, then I'm sorry, but whatever. So let's see that it's red because this is a supply zone. HSV 60. Okay, and there we go. Arguably the most important piece, right? So to go back through it, red candle, doji candle, come up. This is that agreement between buyers and sellers. It's a red zone here. This is our first major supply zone. comes down. You can clearly see an agreement between green buyers, red sellers right here. This is a supply zone, but we call this a minor supply zone because it captures things in the middle of the day. Then it goes down. Lowest part of the day, this is that major demand zone. And as you notice, for the most part, it goes up. And let's just circle a couple of these, right? It does break through a bit, perfectly fine, right? You're not going to buy immediately anyway. You need for very clear entry points, very clear exit points. So it basically bounces off of here, goes downward, comes up, breaks through this zone, comes up, bounces perfectly off of this, and pushes up, breaks to touch this, sorry, touches that, flies through, breaks through this zone, comes down. This actually, by the way, stopped here because if you notice, there's a line. If I did draw a line, it stopped because there's a zone here, right? These zones act as magnets, so it's crazy as hell. So happens here, comes up, taps this area, comes down, comes back again, taps this zone right here, comes down, comes over here, taps this zone, comes down, breaks through, comes over here, and that. And if you notice what I'm doing, these are all potential trades, literally, that you could have taken. That the chart was screaming at you to take, but you didn't take it as of yet. So here, comes down, breaks through a bit, kind of choppy, comes down, taps this again perfectly for a run downward here. And if I drew this outward, I should have drawn this out further, right? But you can notice if I change this red again, need to just extend it out. In all honesty, I shouldn't have did this, but it's fine just for the example. So same thing, 60, okay, and boom, you literally see that it came up, tapped this, and rushed back down. Arguably, this thing in the middle, this minor supply zone, is probably the most important zone in this entire chart because if I get the circle tool back out, let's see how many trades it potentially captured. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, take that off, 8, because this is the 8 anyway that it captured on the middle. It literally caught 8 potential trades. So it doesn't matter if you're thinking, well, I can't trade because of the morning and there's too much stuff going on. That's fine. So you can't do these 8, these 3 over here. You have all of these. There's some trades you could potentially take. And you may be thinking, well, this is just perfectly this. So long story short, before I end the video, this is how the supply and demand strategy works. You capture these reversals with the chart literally screaming at you to say, this is where you buy. And also there's other criteria on when to exactly buy on the 1 minute chart and when exactly to sell on the 1 minute chart. That's based on where the zones are telling you to go to. But I'll leave it at that for now. This is essentially how to draw the supply and demand zones, major and minor. But you may be thinking before you do drop off of this video, this is just too perfect. There's no way this works. This is the perfect market. This is why you went back, Maurice. This is why you went back to November 20th of 2020. This is just an example for me to show you. You can go to any of my other videos I have on my YouTube channel that I'll continuously pump out as well. And no matter what the day is, this happens. Not as beautifully perfect as this, yes. But there's huge moves, there's small moves, but the zones tell you and show you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. It's just you're not understanding the language of the candles and understanding price action correctly enough to make these trades perfectly align, right? So you need to do your own homework to figure out what exactly you're missing out because as me literally as quickly as drawing this little piece out here, it's screaming at you to basically jump in trades like this. So give it a shot yourself. Do you think this doesn't work? Go to SPY. I only do this for SPY specifically because I only want to take 1 trade per day because I'm more about high quality versus high quantity. So do it yourself. Let's see. Go try to leave me a comment below. Go into your brokerage. Try to draw these zones exactly how I did for any day. Try to see if you don't find a potential trade in that day, and let me know in the comment section below if you don't. And I can make a video on it showing exactly where the trades are because you more than likely missed it. This is how easy it is. I've been day trading for a living for a long time, and most people are overcomplicating it. I like simplicity. Simplicity is the best thing you can potentially have. So give it a shot. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, comments, concerns. And if you have any other different ideas on what I should do for YouTube, for other YouTube videos, so I can help you all make more money, because I personally was working in corporate America until I got laid off over and over and over again, and I'm just here to help at this point. So, and that's either from YouTube videos, and that's from me doing my VIP trading program, which is one-on-one coaching to help out as many people as possible. So let me know, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next video.